Hello, my name is Evie Ramirez, and my persuasive speech is going to be on teaching mindfulness in the classroom. So, while working as a paraprofessional in the local elementary school here, I began to notice a lot of the students had a difficult time focusing in class. Their attention spans were very short and they were just easily distracted. A lot of the conversation that was happening with teachers and other staff was that there's this thing called like brain rot, and it's more of like a TikTok, like social media thing, and it took a bunch of mental real estate in the kids. And usually it's like a saying or like more of a saying or like a trend that the students would do. And once like one student would say the phrase in class, the entire class would just go on a tangent about this brain rot. So it would take away from the instruction that the teacher was trying to give. So I think most of us can relate to feeling overwhelmed, distracted, or even constantly pulled into social media and technology. However, for younger students who are still developing their emotional regulation and focus, that these distractions can seriously affect their learning and classroom environment. So, public schools should incorporate mindfulness practices into classrooms because mindfulness improves students' focus, emotional regulation, and classroom behavior while creating a healthier learning environment. First, I will explain that what mindfulness is and why it matters. Then I will talk about how mindfulness helps teachers and classroom environments. And then finally, I will explain how mindfulness positively affects students and their focus, their behavior, and emotional well being overall. So, first, I want to talk about the importance. It is important to understand what mindfulness actually is and why it matters. Um, Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present while learning how to regulate thoughts, emotions, and attention. So, according to the article Mindfully Teaching in the Classroom, a literature review, mindfulness is built around three major concepts. The first one being intention, then attention, and then attitude. So, intention means having a purpose for being mindful. Attention means focusing on the present moment instead of becoming distracted. And then attitude refers to approaching situations with openness and without judgment so that whole mindfulness can work. These skills are especially important for students today because many of the students struggle with distractions, as well as stress and emotional regulation. And mindfulness gives students tools to slow down, refocus, and become more aware of their thoughts and behaviors in the class. Some people believe mindfulness is simply a way to just relax and just kick back, and doesn't really impact, like, or does not like impact the learning. However, mindfulness teaches self regulation, and that helps students better manage their emotions, their behavior, and refocus their attention in the classroom. So, second, I will be talking about mindful teaching. Sorry, teachers who practice mindfulness are better at teachers who practice mindfulness are better able to model calm and emotional regulated behaviors. So, for students, so a lot of the research that I found from mindfulness initiatives for students, teachers, and parents, a review of literature and implications for practice during COVID-19 and beyond, found that mindfulness training helped teachers feel less stressed, more confident, and better able to manage their classroom behavior while also building um, stronger relationships with their students. Students often responded better when mindfulness was being taught by their like in person or in class main teacher. They better received the whole like information, like what we talked about, the three main concepts. When teachers modeled mindfulness, they modeled calmness and emotional regulation, so students were more likely to mirror those behaviors. As someone who has worked as a paraprofessional, I personally saw many students struggle with focus, emotional regulation, and behavior challenges. So during stressful moments, students often looked to all the adults in the classroom for help or guidance, and teachers who practice mindfulness are better able to remain calm and help regulate and assist those students in regulating their own overwhelming feelings or behaviors. So, some people argue teachers already have too many responsibilities and should not be expected to add mindfulness practices in their classroom. However, mindfulness activities often take only a few minutes and can actually reduce classroom disruptions by helping students refocus and recenter themselves. And finally, mindfulness practices have been shown to significantly improve students' emotional regulation, focus, and classroom behavior. So, in the study, the impact of mindfulness education on elementary school students, evaluation of the mastermind program, researchers compared fourth and fifth grade students who participated in a mindfulness program with students who didn't participate in the program. The students who involved um, were involved in the mindfulness activities showed improvements in their functioning, increased their self control, reduced aggression, had fewer social problems in the classroom, and lowered anxiety levels. So, research across the three articles showed how mindfulness can improve attention span, emotional regulation, stress responses, and social emotional competence. In addition, mindfulness practices can help reduce their anxiety, depression, and behavioral problems. In classrooms where I've worked, teachers often use like brain breaks as a form of mindfulness. These activities included like breathing exercises or like calming videos and short like physical activity to slow down the students and reset. After these activities, students were often calmer, more focused, and ready to come back and re-engage with the instruction in the classroom. um, some people would argue that mindfulness takes away valuable instruction time, but mindfulness actually can improve learning because students can come back calm and refocused and just focus on their instruction. So, students today have faced a lot of distraction, stress, and overstimulation from like media. Schools should not only focus on academic success, but also help students develop the emotional and mental skills needed to succeed and regulate themselves. Mindfulness provides students with tools to improve and focus regulations and creates a healthier classroom environment. It also helps teachers better support their students and manage their own classrooms. As someone who again has worked directly with with elementary students, I have seen how much students struggle to stay, present in the moment. Even small activities like the brain breaks can make a huge difference in their refocusing and recentering. So schools should begin incorporating short mindfulness practices into classrooms so students can develop those healthier regulation, like um, focus and regulation, and better emotional well being for both the teacher, the student, and the overall classroom environment. So, yes, thank you very much for listening.